Hi, Bonbon here. How you doing? I'm BonBonB. You're very, very welcome. Hi, people. Who have we got in the chat already? Pavel. Hi, Pavel. You're first here. Well done for not saying first. I'm impressed. Hi, Harry. Harry plays. Long time no see. Long time no see you, clearly. I'm always here. Anapu, hi, the elephant is in the room. Got your own catchphrase now. Random 5, good to hear from you. Hope everything's less busy for you these days. I know you've been busy the last couple of weeks, but yeah, welcome along. 87 Nightmare, do you think Small Town will be possible for an i7 4790 plus 16 gigs of RAM in the second game? I would think so. I think the minimum spec for Cities Skylines II is an i7. I only remember that because that's what I've got as my backup PC, my original Cities Skylines PC. I would think that's going to do. I mean, don't expect everything to be setting the world alight with it, but you should be able to play the game, and at the end of the day, just playing the game is going to be the thing, isn't it? Yeah. You can always upgrade later if absolutely necessary. So anyway, yeah, hi guys. Yeah, don't be rude, say hello. Right, hi Harry. Without many mods, yes, it should work fine. I agree. It should work fine. The thing is, I mean, are mods going to be a thing? I mean, we've seen mods are going to be a thing, but Paradox mods. And now I'm hearing rumours that there won't be any third-party mods. Really? Anyway, not at all. 1 week of being very busy. Still 1 week. Don't worry, Random. Don't worry. The plan is still about a week away from fruition. So yeah, don't worry about that. We'll talk about the plan as and when you're done. Don't worry about it, my friend. Ignore recommended settings. Yes, it's of course. It's recommended is like to get the best out of the game. And by that, they mean the absolute best. So what's the biggest settings we can think of to make the game look as good as is possible? And that may be what they're running the game on. Anyway, hi. Hello, everybody. I'm BonBonB. I don't know if you noticed that we do have a bit of a tendency to swing towards maps and themes on this channel. So when we saw that the dev diary for maps and themes was going to be the 31st of July, well, it's gonna be an interesting one. I've read the dev diary, I've watched the video, and barring one or two little things, and they are pretty much little things, honestly, this is the least awe-inspiring of the dev diary so far. Maybe we were expecting too much. Maybe we were expecting questions to be answered that we hadn't asked. But, well, we have been asking, but we haven't put it directly to them. Maybe they want to announce little things a little bit later on. Who knows, who knows, who knows. There are some questions that we've been wanting the answers to here, but not many. Not many. So anyway, right, so Dev Diary. I'm going to, I've got coffee. That's the important job. I've got coffee. We're going to, the usual plan, we'll read through the Dev Diary. I say we. I'll read through the dev diary. We will have a look at the video, the accompanying video. A couple of things in the video I think might be of interest, and then we'll just read through. This is, let's say, the least inspiring of all the dev diaries so far. Honestly, there's only a couple of bits in here. It let me down quite a lot. I hope there'll be more info in the future. I'm with you, Random. I'm with you. There are some actual. It opens more questions than we had before, right? But anyway, let's just crack on, and then we'll as the questions pop up, we'll ask them and see what the chat thinks, shall we? Right, Dev Diary 7, Maps and Themes, Co Avanya, thank you Sam. Today, 4 p.m. European time, 3 p.m. UK time. Hi, Sir Shakespeare's. Glad to have you along today as well. Paradox mods will only be for console players. So are we looking at the console version? Don't know. Hi, yeah, anyway. Right, so. Hi everyone, welcome back to the weekly development diaries. Today we will go over the maps and themes featured in Cities Skylines II. To get started, let's have a brief comparison between map sizes. Now, okay, let's just let's just chill a little bit here. In fact, let's not read any further for the moment. Let's. When City Skylines was launched, so we're talking about the actual launch City Skylines, before mods, before people were playing with 25 tiles all unlocked or anything like that, the regular game, there was a playable area of 9 tiles. That's how the game was designed. It's the numbers that the game had in mind. The limits were set, they knew about the nodes and the building limits and that kind of thing, and they reckoned that basically 9 tiles was about the maximum you'd be able to play, which is why when we start getting up to 14 or 15 tiles and suddenly we go, oh, we're running out of nodes, we're running out of buildings. Yeah, that's because they knew there were limitations, which they limited us to 9 tiles. That's gone, which is good, right? So when they're talking about the comparison between map sizes, what they're talking about isn't the actual map size. I know it sounds stupid, but it's not the actual map size. It's the size of the playable area of the map is what they're talking about. Right, so now we've got that. So let's just getting that in there, because when they say that everything's much bigger now, it's much bigger in what we're talking about, the playable area of the base game. So in City Skylines, the playable area consists of 5x5 tiles, 9 of which can be purchased once everything is unlocked. One map tile is 1.92 by 1.92 kilometers, which results in a total playable area of 92.16 kilometers, with a maximum of 33.18 kilometers to build a city on. This is the figure that they're most, that's the key figure basically from their viewpoint. Now from our viewpoint, the map is the entire map, right? You, me, everyone else. That's the number that we're looking at. But I guess the important thing is how much can be built on. And the answer was, well, the 25 tile unlock, 92 kilometers, but actually the real answer is 33 kilometers in City Skylines 1. In City Skylines 2, things are a bit different. Oh, by the way, if the stream starts going, please, any buffering, let me know in the chat, and I'll, if I have to start a new stream, I will. The first I know is when somebody mentions something in the chat, so I'll keep an eye open on there. Right. Okay. See your comment there, Fabio. I'll get to that in a moment. I'm gonna read for a little while, and then we'll catch up with the chats. But yes, I know your point. Okay. Right. And I'm not here to defend Paradox Stroke Colossal Order in any way, shape, or form. It's an independent channel. I get nothing from them. Therefore, I can be as honest as I like, and I will. Right. You can rely on me for that one. Right, anyway, so we got City Skylines 2, things are a bit different. For starters, one map tile is much smaller, roughly 1/3 of what it is in the predecessor. But you're able to unlock almost all of the tiles, giving you a whopping total of 441 map tiles. We'll get into a bit more detail on what the almost all is. I've done the math already, so you don't need to. That results in a playable area of 159 square kilometers, roughly 5 times bigger than the 33 kilometers in City Skylines. Slightly under. It's 106. That's 165 thereabouts would be 5 times that. So 159 is about 5 times, just slightly under 5 times, or as we would call it, 7x7 in the City Skylines 1 game is the playable area, and that's before if their modders are going to unlock more map. So this is your base. That's a 7x7, that's a 3x3 in City Skylines 1, although that's actually 21x21. Okay, good. Right. You jump on the map for Cities. Me, I know nothing about maps. Leave me alone. Additionally, the map tiles do not have to be connected to each other. We know about this already. You can buy them in any order, and they can be splattered about wherever you like, more or less. you're still going to want to be able to access them. So if there aren't any highway tiles leading to your new tiles, you're going to have to build them, which will probably mean buying the tiles to be able to build them. So yeah, you can buy, but you don't have to connect them to each other. So technically you can create a small isolated pocket town, and you can purchase map tiles all the way to the edge of the map. By this, when they say edge of the map, they mean the edge of the potential playable map. We know there is an edge of map which doesn't have tiles around the outside. Anyway, where you can create new outside connections. But wait, there's more. Okay, here's one for random. The height map limit, so that the map height limit is much higher than before, adding more flexibility and freedom in how your dream city will look. I think this is massively misleading. I think that is massively misleading, right? So, Random famously made a map recently. You're going to have to tell people what the map was, because I've forgotten the name of it, because so much goes through my head in a week. But the one where you had to limit the we had the flat tops to the mountains because you had to limit it. Beautiful map, but all about a valley basically. Anyway, this is going to allow Random to be able to build that. That's the one, Valentina. That's the one. Valtellina, sorry, version 2. Yes, let's go. Indeed, Valtellina. If you've not seen that one, City Skylines 1, it's a unique map. It's beautiful, and it's all about the valley, right? The map height limit is much higher than before. Great, lovely. So we're going to get, instead of 1 kilometre, we're going to get much more. This is good. Adding much more flexibility and freedom in how your dream city will look. How does that offer more flexibility and freedom to the city builder? You're building on... yeah, you can build higher into the mountains. Surely that adds far more flexibility and freedom to how map makers can build their maps. But flexibility and freedom? I don't really get that phrase in terms of how the extra height in the mountains is... I mean, we're always able to build in the mountains. We just got to build higher into the mountains, which is a little bit more freedom, I guess. But I don't really buy that phrase. But bless you. Maybe it's just Finnish translation into English. We'll give them that, shall we? Now let's talk about themes. In City Skylines, these controlled the natural environment of a map. This is going to be interesting. All right? We'll get to that in a moment, with predefined settings for each theme. When we talk about themes in Cities Skylines 2, we are talking about the style of the roads and the buildings, with the options of European and North American themes being selectable when you start a new map. But we'll get back to them later in the diary after we have a proper look at the maps themselves. So we're going to have a look at the video, then we've got a look at the maps, all that sort of stuff. Let me just briefly go back to in City Skylines 1, these controlled the natural environment of a map. Having had a look at the videos so far and the screenshots so far, I'm not seeing any variety in what we would call map themes, City Skylines 1 map themes. The textures seem to be the same on every map. So this is going to be interesting. Also, I'm speculating that the options of European and North American themes are just for starters, and DLC will bring us, I'm absolutely certain, Japanese will come. Ryuichi's got to be involved, haven't they? I imagine, say, Japanese will come. I reckon we'll Mediterranean, Central American, Mexican, that kind of thing. I imagine we'll see more themes popping up over the years. Not anytime soon, but over the years. Let me have a quick look at the chat, because I do remember there was a couple of things popped up here that you guys are probably going to want me to catch up on. Keyboard said that the actual tiles in City Skylines 2 are smaller than City Skylines. Did some maths. Will be 32. Hang on, Harry plays. You did some math, and the overall City Skylines 2 in City Skylines 1 will be 2 tiles more. If you're talking the 81 tiles as composed, because what they're talking about here in the their map size. They're talking about the playable map area. So this 159 kilometers here squared is approximately, in City Skylines 1 terms, 7 by 7. Right? But what we're talking about we can't really compare that number with the 81 tile, because we know there is definitely, in fact, there's more on the map than that 159. There's more playable on the map than that 159. I haven't got the number for that, but I have got a number. You've seen the number 88 in the thumbnail. That is relating to this. We will get to this. I promise. We'll get to this. Let me just catch up with everybody else's chat. It's a pity they didn't reveal what the maximum height... Yes, it'd be nice to know, but I don't think it's essential. We can see they're much higher, right? I think you're right. Outside connections to nowhere are a huge letdown. I agree, but I question, is that really any different than outside connections dropping off the flat Earth into the blue mantle? I don't think it's a huge amount different. It'll allow us to build closer to the edge of the map while still having a good background. The only thing we won't have is highways without mods, assuming mods are going to come along. We won't have highways leading off into the nether. So I think it's probably more realistic. I'm going to give them this, and I'm saying I'm not here to support them. I'm going to say I've already grumbled about one thing. I will grumble about things when I don't think they're right, like what was that description up there somewhere I didn't agree with. But yes, I think outside connections, I wasn't sure at first, but the more I think about it, the more I don't mind them. They tried some Cities Skylines 4 thing, did they, Harry? SimCity 4. Never played SimCity 4. I can't compare. I asked them about the height limit on their Instagram. I hope they answer. Regarding the size of the whole map, they always avoid to answer. Well, this is the thing. I have got some rough numbers, speculative numbers. We'll get to them immediately after the video. Okay, so if you're hanging around, I will get to that immediately after the video. Stream is perfect. Thanks, Harry. I know you jump on this. Yes, indeed, of course. Let's. This is what I'm talking about. Outside connections should go to the real edge of the map, not the playable one. Yeah, I can see the argument. I absolutely can see the argument. It does seem a bit weird, but equally, if we want to build our own outside connections, it doesn't look like we need a mod to build an outside connection. Having an outside connection, being able to choose where they are on the edge of our city, I can see it both ways. There'll be some people that really don't like it. At the moment, I started off hating it. It's growing on me a little bit. I'm not saying I love it, but I'm growing on me a little bit. First mod will be expanding the 441 to 1,000 or whatever. 441 to 5. Add 88 to that. What was that? Anyway, whatever. Yeah, and then more. We'll see. Yes, it could be. It could be. 87 Nightmare. Not sure nobody will get it higher than 81. Hang on. Nobody get it higher than 80. Well, you can't get it higher than 81 in City Skylines 1 because there were only 81 tiles. There were only 81 tiles in City Skylines 1. There was no making it bigger. That was the limit. That was all there was. That we were able to play the 81 tiles is just a testament to how great our modding community is. But yes, there are definitely bigger limits on this map that they haven't brushed on. This 159 is a massive under number. A massive, yeah. They're comparing this like for like with the 33, but the 33 is 3 by 3 tiles, and we know that the main map, Cities Skylines 1, was 9 by 9. So this is a small number, and this is a direct comparable number, the playable area in the base game, and there's a lot more. So yeah, let's not get too panicked. Seems that only cliff and grass. Yeah, yes, so random. No, it worries me. It seems that it's only cliff and grass, plus stuff like snow, water, and concrete. The tiles that contain fertile and ore, seen in the trailer, don't seem to have any different textures, so I don't think they have a standalone texture. Interesting. Hadn't really noticed that yet, so thanks for that. Tiles, the entire map will be 40. Yeah, the entire playable map. Remember, playable map. The 21 tiles by 21 tiles square, if you buy 21 by 21, is approximately 7 by 7 in Cities Skylines 1. But of course, it won't be 21 by 21 because you're going to want different shape from 21 by 21. You're not going to be limited to 21. You'll be able to expand out beyond that because the map is bigger. The playable map is bigger than 21 by 21 by 88 tiles. I do wonder if the buildings and networks will also be scaled down. Actually, you can move stuff beyond the map in City Skylines. Pretty much anything. Yes. Well, yes. Yeah. If you're talking about that. Anyway. Oh, D-Hex. Oh, D-Hex. Absolutely amazing creator. A little bit back in time, but he did those. Was it Kings Valley and Queens Bay, or it might have been Queens Valley and Kings Bay? Two maps that in theory could be pushed beside each other to make one bigger map. Clearly you can't do that in game, but that was an amazing set of maps he created there. Well, yes, you're talking about the entire map, but you're talking about the entire map and they're talking here about the playable map. We'll talk about the entire map immediately after we watch this video. Okay, let's watch the video. Again, I've got the video on mute because they were playing music and I got a copyright slap on the wrist. Not for the video, but for the music. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll play this. We've got the captions on. We'll talk over it. We'll possibly stop it every now and then. And we'll see how we go. Ready? Here we go then. So, let's put a little pause on there. Right, in fact, let me just turn the caption off if that's doable. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Textures, though, if throughout this, have a look at the textures. We've definitely got cliff textures. We've got grass textures. And there are snow textures. I'm not seeing much else beyond. Don't remember seeing any sand. I've not really looked out for sand, but maybe there is. Maybe there is. So it's easy to forget how much our day-to-day is shaped by where we live. Yes, carry on. Please tell us all about it. Off we go. I'll leave the captions on and have some coffee. But this is how our world looks and feels and changes. Sets the scene for our lived experience. Right, so here we go. We're pulling back. We're pulling back 5 times bigger than before. Okay, whatever you want to say. Right, put a little pause on there. So if we have a little look at the screen here, you can see the entire potential playable area, right? This is 23 tiles by 23 tiles, and we know that we can unlock 21 tiles by 21 tiles, which means that if you build on all 441 tiles, there's still going to be 88 of these tiles unbuilt on, which is, where are we, about 4 all the way across, 4 lines all the way across, approximately. Not quite, but approximately, which is a fair amount of space, which allows you for flexibility of build. Beyond that, though, yes, we are seeing a lot of space over here and a lot of space over here. I have measured on each of the 3 shots where we get more view of the city, of the map around the outside. And in the first 2 that we see, there are going to be approximately 12 tiles that we can actually see. In the third, a little bit more. We'll get to that in a moment. Carry on. Keep rolling. Oh, hang on a second. It says, Harry says, go full screen. The problem is, if I go full screen, you won't see the full screen. I'm working on one screen here. And if I go full screen, you are going to have this part of the screen chopped off that you won't be able to see. So unfortunately, we're going to have to go again. The link to the dev diary and the video is in the description of the video, so you can go and watch it in your own time with the sound, with the beautiful voiceover, and be able to go full screen in your own time. So anyway, yes. So maps are composed of individual tiles. This is all stuff we knew, right? Individual tiles, not really surprised. Connect them to create, there we go, as 12 tiles around the outside that we can see. And in a minute, or in a moment, here, is it here? I think it's here on this screen here. If you look down to the bottom here, we've got a lot. We can see the map reaches out all the way down to this point, and I'm making that about 19 tiles. 19 tiles beyond what we're allowed to build on. And I'm imagining that's the same on the other side as well, because the map's going to be centered, and this is as far as we can see. Also, look at the rendering of the water here. I'm going to bring the video back a second. Look at how this glitches in and glitches out. And over here, I think this lake does the same. Let me just take that back a little bit, and we'll play that again. So, there we go. It's just rendering glitchily those areas there. Doesn't like it. Doesn't like it, but there you go. Anyway, milestones. These are all really interesting, by the way. I could pause it and walk you through it, but I think that'll be something for Cities Skylines 2 o'clock. Then you've got natural resources in the tiles, which will bump up the cost of the tiles. Then, I'm sorry, but that is just awful. I mean, the mountains look amazing. The tree painting here, it's 4 trees plopped in, I mean, I guess a believable location. We're not on the cliff faces, but where's the rest of the foliage? This is bland. This is very, very bland. But look how deep the mountains go from here. We've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4 ridges. Brilliant. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. I'll catch up with the chat in a moment. We'll get through this video first of all. But yes, that's poor, I'm afraid. That's very, very poor. But stunning. Yeah, let's move the time along a bit. Beautiful. Right, outside connections. Don't need the mods. You can create your own. So that is, I guess, a boon. Then we have the maps. The 12 maps with the themes, the climates, the latitudes, the buildable areas, the outside connections, and the resources per map. These are all listed below in the dev diary, so we will be looking through these individually. So I'm going to carry on playing the video because there's absolutely no point us stopping at this location. So there we are, through all of those. You've got all the bits I've just told you about, and the same default blank map thumbnail. Beautiful, well done, well done. Anyway, start the game, name the city, then from there you have to choose at that point whether you want left or right hand driving, and choose a theme for the map. Again, this is all covered in the text down below, which we'll get to in a moment. Gonna name it Chirp Town, are you? European style buildings. Very nice. When we get to the bottom, we've got a really interesting what's the word, comparison between the European and the American style buildings. But the row houses, these look great. These look really, really good. Credit for that. So yes, so choosing your maps. I'm sure why are we choosing maps again? Did I switch the I switched the captions off, didn't I? A vast area available on the new maps. Terrains are more varied, resources are more accessible, and there are more ways to connect to other cities. You'll discover maps where it's sandy beaches. Where's the sand? I've not seen the sand. Snow painting on these mountains is a little bit poor as well. Winding rivers. Oh, I mean, basically, this is a video that doesn't really tell us an awful huge amount. But by pausing it, we were able to pick out like the amount of tiles. But anyway, let's bring that back a little bit there. And if we get rid of the caption there. But again, so we've got, you can see a huge buildable space here. And can we see the edge of map? Is that the edge of map over there? Or is that just draw distance? I don't know. But honestly, this one has been a little bit less awe-inspiring than some of the other preview videos we've seen before. Just catching up with the chat. CTR plus scroll mouse. Oh, yeah, it gets messy. But then, yeah, I'll remember that for next time, see if I can do it. Hi, Brom. It's Brom. Are you the Brom? I can't remember. We haven't seen Brom for ages. Brom, if that's you, Brom, good to have you back. If it's a different Brom, nice to meet you. You could do this. Yes, if I watched it on YouTube, I mean, it's setting this thing up immediately after work and trying to go live as quickly as possible, plus having read all the whatevers and get myself a coffee and get out of my work clobber. And yeah, it's I just want to get this stream done quick. If you want to watch this again, the link to the dev diary is in the description. You can watch it in your own time with the sound, and plus with it not being, with the sound being muted, you'll get the full benefit with the sound. Horrible textures. I'm saying nothing. I wouldn't say horrible, but the lack of range, as if we're talking about one map be representing, say, well, we got one of the base maps is representing the, was it Lakelands, I think it's called, represents Finland. We've got another map. Well, we know there's going to be one. Was it the pre-order one? Not the DLC one. Sorry, for San Francisco. You're trying to tell me that the biomes are the same, that the soil color is the same, and we've got for New Zealand. If you're doing an African map, that's where Cities Skylines 1 was amazing for us map makers, having themes for European stroke North American. I get it, but I'm not sure what we're losing. I'm not entirely sure if what we're losing is worth losing. So yes, hi Brom, yes it's me. Going back to your bit about height, I guess that means if you want to build high elevation villages or industries, you can make them realistically high. Well, yes, but then of course that's more, I mean, you could have had elevated industries in the previous game. You can build to 1 point something kilometre, but just over 1 kilometre, which is quite high. Anyway, the other two are part of the DLCs. Indeed, did you gather the weather yet? We haven't in this one, but we have in previous. I think it was last week or the week before. I can't remember now, but yes, we have covered weather and seasons, I think. Yeah, but yes, for a city that has such high settings, yeah, better textures. Because the other thing we got to remember is things like textures. That's something that can be changed quite late in the day, so they can upgrade. Not saying they will, I don't believe they will, but something like textures is something that can be. We've got 3 months. Or they've got 3 months, so things like that I think can be updated later, closer to game release, or downgraded as well. You know, how many times have we seen games, you know, just thinking, what's that, Watch Dogs looked amazing and then it was awful. Okay, I'm not saying this is going to be a Watch Dogs, but it could be downgraded as well. We'll worry about these things. Again, I don't think they'll downgrade it, but I don't think they'll be upgrading it. But they can. It's not a big task. Not a big task. Okay. Also, I reckon the tile size being smaller gives you more flexibility. That I agree. I absolutely agree with you there, Steve. Yeah, we can be more picky about, because I say many times in WhatsApp, I like it when map makers put in decent sized fields, and then you can pretend you're buying the fields like mini tiles. Now we're getting mini tiles. This suits for me. I would like them to be hexagonal, but let's not get into that. Hiya, Dan. Dan's here. You're only a little bit late. Don't worry about it. Maybe they work differently because of the seasons. Do you know what, Brom? That is inspired thinking. That is inspired thinking. Maybe they do, and maybe it's because of the seasons. Okay, I'll let you have that one. Remember, though, that seasons aren't the case everywhere in the world. If you go to the tropics, they don't really have a winter. Anyway, been having trouble with your new tablets, factory reset, and so on from Windows. Poor Dan is struggling. Back already. I'm about caught up now with the chat. City Skylines without awful vanilla maps wouldn't be City Skylines. I don't think they're all awful. There's one I quite like, apart from one missing aspect. But we're going to get to those in a moment. Right, okay. I'm going to crack on because I could read the chat all day. We're going to not get through this. The Brave New World. Each map introduces different challenges through various landscapes. To begin your new city, you will need to choose a map from the new game panel. When a map is selected, you will see the most important details of the selected map, such as the default theme of the map, climate information, which we'll get into next week, latitudes telling you which hemisphere the map is located in, as well as how the seasons work, buildable area available. Interesting, actually, as how the seasons work. So if it's tropics, are we going to have a specific way of tropics? Or is it just going to be winter is summer and summer is winter? You know? Anyway, buildable area available. I really don't want to have a Java build covered in snow. You know what I mean? Buildable area available, the familiar natural resources, and of course, which outside connections already exist on the map. Right, once you have found a map suitable for your new city, you can adjust several options before starting the game. For example, you can choose a name for your city. Hooray! Change the default theme, enable or disable various gameplay options, and decide if you want the tutorial to guide you through the city building. Most of these options can be adjusted later when loading your city, with the exception of the map theme and whether the city obeys left hand and right hand traffic rules. That's my biggest bugbear. The left hand, right hand. The amount of times I've started a new city and then had to restart it because I've had traffic on the wrong side. Oh dear. Yeah. So anyway, so we've got the options, and we're already aware of the options. I'm liking the tutorial options. This is a bit more than I saw the last time. Maybe it was here like the last time as well, but maybe these are things that are being added all the time. Remember, they're working on this game still. So to be able to continue the tutorial from where you left off, to restart it, or completely disable it. Nice options to have, right? And this image. I mean, I like the image, don't get me wrong. It's just surprising it hasn't been updated. You couldn't live without Move It. They've not said that there isn't a Move It in the game yet. I suspect if there is a Move It in the game, it will be as simple as click on the building and move it. And click on, well, we're going to be able to do that with road tiles to a degree, I imagine. But yes, to just click on the building and drag it to move it. Possibly. Maybe that will be under the Paradox mods. To be able to have a built-in Move It mod. And whether you choose to have that. I suspect that's where that is, you know. The more I think about it, I'd be surprised if Move It isn't a built-in Paradox mod. Anyway, let's have some of this coffee. Right, back with you. Right, unlocking map tiles. Okay, this is where it's probably the most interesting part of today's dev diary. Unlocking map tiles. Sticking with the familiar gameplay, new expansion permits. New expansion permits are unlocked as you reach each milestone. The milestones which we saw in the video, there's a whole heap of them from like small village, bustling village, that kind of thing, tiny town, most of the ones that we're used to. But as you reach each one, you're going to get permits to buy more tiles, and you're also going to get the, what's the word I'm looking for, the development points. I think they were covered. In fact, let me just come back up to the video. Pretty sure they're in here somewhere. Where were they? Let me just scram through here a bit. I think it's here. Quick pause on that. So, Grand Village. I say, unfortunately, I can't get this. Maybe I can. Can I get this any bigger? I can get it a little bit bigger. There we go. Right, if I go much bigger, I'm going to lose everything for it. Anyway, what we're seeing here and here, I'm not entirely sure exactly what these refer to, because each time you unlock a new milestone, we're getting, like when we get to a Grand Village, we got an increase to the loan limit, we got the ability to have a district creation tool, the production panel, policies, natural disasters, lovely, transportation overview, low rent housing. So as you go up through all these milestones, you get a whole bunch of extra things that you can add into your city. But these two buttons are quite interesting in as much as it doesn't say what they are, but I suspect one is development points. So probably this +4 is 4 development points, and this +6 is 6 more tiles. Or it could be the other way around. I suspect that that's what these two are. I suspect that this is the number of development points, and this one is the number of tile permits that we get to actually build on. Oh, blimey. Try and get it back down to where we were. There we go. I think that's what that is. But there are a whole ton of milestones there, yeah. Each one unlocking new features and abilities, right? So, so we've read all that, we've seen all that, and I'll just check the chat if I missed anything. And he seems to give you a lot of detail about the latitude and temperature. Yeah, no snow in Java, absolutely. Built-in mods will likely only 20% of the real mods due to home mods work. How words? Yeah, indeed, yes. I get you. Unlock all, natural disasters off for the win. Yeah, and you can do that right from the off. It's in the in your options. If you don't want natural disasters, you can switch it off. I won't be playing with natural disasters. I'm a city builder, okay? I'm not clearing up mess. There's enough mess from the city already. Unlocking map tiles. We got to here, didn't we? There we go. So, right, I'm going to carry on. Please, let me. Right, so a brand new city starts with 9 map tiles unlocked. I don't know whether that is the 9 map tile, whether they specify the 9 map tiles. It says a brand new city starts with 9 map tiles unlocked. So I imagine those are predefined. So if there is going to be a map editor, maybe we're going to be predefining 9 map tiles to get you started. It's going to be a lot of fun for the map reviewer, isn't it? So it's roughly the same size as in Cities Skylines, because Cities Skylines, well, each one of these tiles is about a third. So 3 by 3, it's 9 tiles, is about the same size. With these expansion permits, you can unlock new map tiles and continue to grow your city. This happens through the map tile user interface, giving you a top-down view of the map. The camera can be moved around and rotated, which I'm really pleased about, allowing you to find the best suitable areas to expand into. Selecting a map tile shows important information such as the buildable area, resources, and of course how much it costs, and right-clicking the tile will deselect it. You can select multiple tiles at a time and see the combined cost before finally purchasing them. The cost depends on the size of the buildable area and the availability of resources. So that's great. If you're getting a bland tile with no buildable area and no resources, nice and cheap. Like if it's all water, should be cheap. And if you're buying one which is just full of ore, then it's going to be really expensive. Also, having movable bridges as a DLC is... Ah, you are so mean, Harry. Harry, you're mean. You're a mean boy. Maps. Yay! How long have we waited? Oh, all this time. Let's all take the piddle out of the map, shall we? Okay. Right. Maps. When creating the maps for Cities Skylines II, we had a goal of providing you with a diverse set with various amounts of interesting scenery. To some degree, all the maps take inspiration from real world locations. Sirens to the BonBonB Bingo players! It's a police car. Ooh. Perhaps you can recognise some of them. Maybe we can. Being able to unlock such a huge area also lets us create more varied terrains, as you can fully utilise all of the available resources and outside connections on the map. So let's have a look at the maps themselves. So, Archipelago, Haven. What have we got here? You're an old. It's my right to complain. Yes, absolutely. Totally, you're right. We'll let you out. We'll let you. I mean, I like to gribble, don't I? Archipelago Haven. The map is based on a cluster of islands, just in case you didn't get the clue in the map name, with a chain of smaller and bigger islands surrounded by bodies of water on all sides, because that's how islands work, right? The map includes atolls, lagoons, peninsulas, and keys. That's the unusual spelling for key, but I can go with that one. That's an American spelling, I think, isn't it? Anyway, small, low elevation land formations. Oh, and keys, small, low elevation land formations. Your city will have easy access to outside connections via highway, train tracks, ship routes, and airways, with the highway going across the map connecting the two main islands. Right, first of all, ooh, it's a castle. Is this the new vanilla ploppable castle? Is that what we're seeing here? The new vanilla ploppable castle. It's okay. I don't hate it. There are rewards there. So are we looking towards this bridge here from there? Does that mean... Is that the castle over here? Or is it over... my left and my lights... That might be over there. I don't know. I don't care either. The bridge is okay. I'm not massively excited by it, but it's okay. But there we go. All right. Okay. No more zooming. Barrier Island. Inspired by Barrier Island Formation because it's an inspiring name, right? This map features long island chains parallel to the mainland, separated by a bay. The islands are mostly flat, which allows you to easily build a city. While the highway and train tracks run across the mainland, you have easy access to the seaways because it's a coastal map, right? As a starting tile is placed on a barrier island. Hang on a second. As a starting tile? Excuse me, you said there were 9. There are 9 tiles. Don't tell me there's 1 tile. You're lying to me, right? The flat islands also make building an airport easy, letting the city benefit from the airway connections to the outside world. Right, so plenty of flat buildable space on this one. Barrier Island is ideal for a coastal city. Well, duh. Have an egg and go suck it, right? I mean, the bridges they're big. They're big old bridges. Everybody loves a big old bridge. I don't know about that bridge. I don't like about any of the bridges I've seen so far. Anyway, I don't know about the tree painting either. This is uninspiring, full stop. Looks the same as the old castle. Not really. Hang on, I was going to say it looks quite different than this. Well, no, yeah, it is, Dan. It is quite different from the old castle. I didn't say it looked the same. I said it's a castle. It is a castle. Like the fact that the bushes are up close to the castle walls. Nice. Oh, base game anarchy. Good question, random. Good question. Oh, look, it's a castle. Catching up. Is that a castle? Yes, catching up. Well done. It's a bit weird that these maps are called Archipelago Island, but there are no beaches. Yes. Beaches? Oh, hang on. There's a beaches DLC, isn't there? Do we have to buy the DLC to get the sand texture? There's a speculation. That's the most unrealistic bridge ever. It's about unrealistic. Yeah. Right, shall we move on? Vanilla maps. Vanilla maps. Great Highlands. This map draws inspiration from the Highlands region, located in Scotland. Back. Almost home for me. Almost home. Mountain ranges dominate the region, but the area also includes long, narrow and deep lakes, typically known as lochs. Not loches. Not loches. They're lochs, okay? That's the one thing I can say with confidence. As in the Loch Ness Monster, right? Okay. They are deep. Loch Ness is really deep. And it goes to the centre of the earth, which is where the Loch Ness Monster lives. There you go. You learned that today from BonBonB. The highway and train tracks run between the mountains out along the coast. And you can find scattered rocky islands and formidable cliffs along with access to the seaways. Now, this image here, this is a good image. All right. This is a good image. This image here is anybody who's a BonBonB buddy and has seen the schedule show where I pick apart all the screen images on the workshop of maps. This is not a good image. This is a good image. This is not a good image. It does show we've got playable space, but so is this one. This one should be telling us a different story. If we look at the previous ones, I mean, this shows that we've got a good playable space. This shows that we've got big old bridges. Whether or not you like them is a different story. These are fine. These balance nicely. And here also, this looks into the map. I think this one looks out of the map. And again, foreground looks great. So these were good images. This one, however, does nothing, I'm afraid. Sorry. Right, the problem is that 11 years later, the vanilla game shouldn't look worse than the modded CS1. 11 years later. Okay. I think it was Cities Skylines 1. Everybody's saying Cities Skylines 1. Excellent. We can build US buildings in Scotland. Of course you can. Just like Trump. To be fair, he only built a golf course. Oh dear. Lakeland. Inspired by the Finnish Lakeland region, we of course had to include this map. It provides lots of calm water with numerous lakes of similar shapes and many smaller islands. The landscape holds plenty of green areas and forests, and flat areas with a few rolling hills provide a great foundation for any city with a Northern European look and atmosphere. Now, looking at these two maps, I think that this is the good image. And this one less so. I'm not inspired to play this one. And again, look at the tree painting here. Just, it's almost spammed. Here, there's a little bit. You can work out there's some sort of some pattern going on here with a few patches of trees here. But here, this image does absolutely nothing for me. So far, I think possibly the Highland map is the one that has caught my eye the most, but there's definitely one a bit further down that grabs me a bit more. Did one person make all these maps in one day with random generators for terrain and trees? I've asked, well, I didn't ask, I suggested a procedurally generated map editor just to get us started. And also an import, so a terrain party style import for height maps in a map editor. These are things I've suggested. Will they be in the game? I doubt it. But if they are, I will take full credit and I expect payment. Mountain Village. Taking inspiration from small cities located along the Alps. Here's one for Wathradnir. And as a guess, also here's one for random. Along the Alps mountain range, this map brings converging rivers flowing across a map and gentle slopes stretching from the mountain base. This creates a broad valley divided by large rivers where you can build a glorious city between the snow-capped mountain peaks. So, snow. We have snow-capped peaks. We haven't seen that before, have we? Even in our Scottish Highlands. So, this is our first glimpse at the snow. And the shapes of these mountains are quite... I mean, they're good. The river looks very nice. This is a good image. This is a slightly better than okay image in my eyes. I mean, we're just cutting the tops of... We've got all this space down here. If we lose the bottom part of this image here, tilt the camera up a little bit, capture the tops of these mountains, it'd be a much nicer framed image, I think. And it would showcase the snow. But anyway, all good. Don't like those clouds. Stannington's having a go about the clouds. Stannington, you're lovely. Can we just say we love you? We do. Oh, hang on. There we go. Snow looks so fake. There's no transition. I will agree with that. And I don't like the texture either. We're going to probably see a texture in a minute, and it's not great. Lower, yes. No, TOS means they can take your ideas without crediting you or paying you. That's exactly how it works. That's exactly how it works. It's okay. I've got a monetized channel. I make millions of pounds a year. I make more than Colossal Order. or barely anything at all, actually. But there we go. River Delta. This map features a large curving river flowing down a gentle slope, breaking into a delta, before eventually flowing into the sea, because it's called River Delta. Just in case you needed to be told what a river delta was, right? The river is guided by the hills on the edge of the map, which leave a plentitude. Ooh! Ooh! Everybody, please appreciate the word plentitude. I'm impressed. I'm not entirely sure it's a real word. It's going to be, isn't it? But I don't think I've ever heard the word plentitude. I know exactly what it means. If it's a new word, it's a great new word. And if it's not a new word, I like it a lot. Anyway, which will leave a plentitude of flat terrain to build a city. Expanding into the delta allows for great access to the seaways and the creation of interesting island neighbourhoods. I would agree with that last bit. I would agree with that. Build a city as the river meets the sea at the river delta. Right, gotcha. What I would like to have seen in these images is a stronger feel for the river delta. If we're going to have a river delta, show the river delta, right? Instead, we've got what is an okay image. Pre-built dirt roads in place, I guess. This one's not bad. But again, we've got a lot of foreground here that we could lose. That has nothing. It does nothing. This foreground does zero. This is a better image, all told. But I think this is a better image in terms... This would be a better image if we nudge the camera forward a little bit, just to give us a better feel for... I mean, what's these things in the foreground? They're very square. Are they rocks? I don't know. But they look like they're rocks beside the road. Have they started doing a city build? and they're taking some images. I don't know. Plentitude. Rare. Yeah, plentitude's a good one. Plethora is a great word. Ace is a good word too, especially if you've got 4 of them. River Delta, 80 kilometres from you, looks nothing like that. The great thing though is river deltas will look different everywhere you go. The Nile has a river delta, famously. It'll look nothing like this as well. Look nothing like your one. Probably a bit bigger than your one as well. But yes, you're quite right. Everywhere you go, it's all different, isn't it? At the moment, though, we're seeing very, very similar. All of these maps, you take this. We don't know where it is in the world supposed to be. Is it any different from this, apart from the amount of water? Is it any different from this, apart from the water? I'm not feeling any variety because of the constant textures. But of course, it's a city builder game, so it should be all about the city. Let's not get too sweaty on this, right? Now on to sweeping plains. And just on these images alone, this is the map I want to play. This is the one. This is a great image. Really makes me want. I can see the mountains in the backdrop there. Slightly awkward coasts to get to. And this one over here, huge amount of buildable space with rivers. In fact, it's almost something, again, anybody who's seen Bonbon Island, almost something Bonbon Island coast about this. I kind of appreciate this. Anyway, inspired by the New Zealand Canterbury Plains, this map features a broad expanse of flat land covered by grassland, ready for development. The map has access to a wide coastline, and on the opposite side of the map, the mountain range creates a marvellous landscape. The plains in the centre part of the map provide a great place to build any city. So this is the one. I think when I get the game, I think I'm going to be straight onto sweeping plains. I think it looks the best from here, but the thumbnail buttons are. This one doesn't look particularly great in the thumbnail. We will see. In terms of city buildings, it's an incredible game. Yep. I think we could sum it up by saying the maps lack character. Yeah, maybe a little bit. They're definitely better than CS1 maps, though. I think they've been mocked enough over those base game vanilla maps. These are better. Not necessarily the most amazing. I think probably some of them are going to be better than others, but that's going to be the case. Be interesting if any of these have been made by anybody we might know, community-wise, possibly. Not that they're going to say, ever. But yeah, there we go. Twin Mountain. Drawing inspiration from Iceland's coastline and the iconic cliffs, you'll find 2 separate flat-topped, steep-sided Toya mountain formations. A small river runs across the map down the slope towards the ocean. Along the coastline are numerous cliffs and hidden beaches. Beaches? Okay. Hopefully we'll see some images of beach. No, we won't. With good access to seaways and shipping routes. The map doesn't feature an existing train track, so expanding to the edge of the map is essential if you wish to create one. But you can, of course, still provide your city with train infrastructure without an outside connection if that fits your city. So yeah, what they're talking about there is clearly having a just if you've got 2 towns or whatever, you want to connect them together. You don't need to have an outside connection. You could just spam trains, spawn trains to go from one to the other, from your train depot to your stations, do their stuff. So you could do that. But then, of course, outside connection, it makes sense. But yeah, the snow, there is no transitional effect. I'm not liking the snow texture at all. Not even a little bit. And again, just look at the grassland here. It's very samey. It's very, very samey. I'm underwhelmed. But there we go. Tree painting. I mean, in fact, this map design is poor. This map design is very, very poor. It's just like, we'll stick a couple of bumps here. We put in a swirl of trees here. Why have we got a swirl of trees here and the swirl of trees there? What caused them to form these formations? Or forgetting what caused them to form those formations, let's talk about how they're going to help you to design your city. There's nothing about natural formation here, and there's nothing about, well, forgetting about that, but we're trying to force you to build a city in a certain way, suggest a city in a certain way, even not force, but suggest. There's nothing here that tells me about gameplay. It's just a coast with mountains, river running through the middle, and some spammed trees. And again here, this just feels very spammed, almost like there's a tree limit, because it's no density. Be interesting to know about tree limits. This is suggesting there's tree limits. Waterway Pass. Okay, 2 colossal mountain ranges create natural map borders on 2 sides. So mountain range on one side, mountain range on the other, while the playable area is split by a meandering river flowing across the whole map, with train tracks and highways on either side, providing easy and quick access to the outside connections, and the wide river banks leave lots of room for a growing city. So basically, river run. Anybody? Yeah. It's gonna be a good city build. I think a lot will depend also on where the resources are, as to how you might play a map like this. But this is a reasonable image, and this is also a good image. Suggests that maybe the river isn't going to be the easiest to get to in some places. Let me have a little look at the chat, see if I've missed anything. In CS1 we used the sand texture as snow. Now it'd be the opposite. Yep, random, you're right, probably. Look at that snow, it looks like icing on the cake. Yes, only it's not the icing on the cake though, is it? It really isn't. Also, sirens for the BonBonB Bingo players, Mark 2. What have we got this time? Oh, it's a police car going the other way. Right, I assume you'll be able to thin out the textures as you paint them though. But the thing is, are we going to be able to paint textures? We don't know that we are. We're assuming we are, because Cities Skylines 1. But we don't even know there's a map editor. There will be, but will there be? Hi Luigi, gaming and stuff. Good to see you back. Maps have the same feeling as vanilla CS1 maps, like they generated the entire thing in the generator. There was a terrain generator mod for CS1 that produced more or less the same. It was, yeah, meh. The water banks all look too steep. The thing is, you can get rivers like this. This for me isn't a huge problem, as long as it's not everywhere. As long as it's not everywhere. I'd want some banks which are lower. I'd want a bit of variety. But yeah, I don't have a big problem with this. But again, I want a little bit of variety. Windy Fjords. Hey, as a map inspired by breathtaking fjord coast formation, this map has several long and narrow inlets surrounded by steep cliffs. Each inlet ends in a small bay area and starts from one sea edge of the map, following a similar pattern. Nestled between the mountains is quite a... Oh, let me read that again. Nestled between the mountains is quite a large buildable area, with the possibility of accessing the top of the fjords via narrow slopes. So yeah, if you want to do a fjord style build with something up in the hills, you can. These bridges are a little bit more interesting, the way they've been done. Again, I don't love them, but I don't hate them as much as the previous ones. And I'm questioning the routes here already, but let's not worry about that. And this is a good image. Always think anything that's with a river or a highway that leads into the map is always a better image than an image where it's just cuts across the middle of the map. But this one kind of works because we have got the highway leading to the map there, so it's a good image. Right, so is that all of the maps? Have we covered all 10 of them? Of course, you'll get Tampere as a pre-order bonus map, and San Francisco as a DLC map as well. So we could have 12 base game vanilla maps quite early on. Outside connections. Each map comes with at least one. Oh, sorry, so I just check the not a natural water cut. One river bend around the hill with the castle. Looks like okay. Yeah, I'm just catching up on the chat here. I don't even think the Golden Gate is that extreme. No deserts. But there weren't in the base game of Cities Skylines 1. We created through creativity within the community the desert theme. A big shout out to Douglas. If you want a good desert map, look up Douglas on the workshop. The best desert maps were Douglas maps. Eggsy's got at least one that I remember. Very very good one, and there are other good desert maps. But yeah, they and Sanctum Gamer obviously had a few dry diet biome maps from Sanctum as well. But yeah, it's a genre that we created because we clever. I say we. Let's include all of us in the community for one person's work. Thanks, Douglas. Outside connections. Each map comes with at least one road connection, and most of the maps have pre-built train connections and seaways. All the maps also have an airway connection and power lines running through them to import or export electricity. So this is interesting. This is actually quite interesting. So we have power lines to an outside connection from the off. So we don't actually need to build a power station. You will, because we don't want to be paying for imported electricity. But yeah, we have power from the off, apparently. Some maps have multiple highway connections right at the starting tile, to offering even more options. In addition to the outside connections already on the map, you are able to create outside road, train, and ship connections once you unlock the edge of the map. As discussed in the previous development diaries, you can also create electricity along with water and sewage connections to the outside world, enabling trade of that service. The only outside connects that you cannot add to the map are airways, but you can freely connect to the already existing airway connection points once you construct an airport. But yeah, so outside connections are just things that you add once you get to the outside tiles. So you're gonna have to buy a whole bunch of tiles to be able to do it. But it's definitely something that you can do. It's an option. Yes, there are planes. Yes, there are planes. The only thing you can't do is you can't add extra flights outside connections. There is at least one. Where was it? Let me read that again. You're probably catching up. I'm probably a little bit ahead of you here. I've lost it. Wherever it was. It was here. Why can I not see it? The only outside, here we go. The only outside connects you cannot add to the map are airwaves, but you can freely connect to the already existing airway connections. So yeah, we have planes, definitely. The airways sound sketchy. I wouldn't say they were sketchy. I mean, hopefully the planes, having seen the animations of planes landing and taking off, that looks better. And if you've got a flight path going across the map, the planes will connect from basically anywhere, won't they? This is the thing. Because nothing's going to get in the way. Maybe a mountain. But forgetting about that. Yeah, there's planes clipping through mountains will be the next thing. I'm going to be looking for that in cities in What's Map 2, aren't I? I just know it. Anyway, add a new train connection by dragging the tracks to the edge of the playable map. So the 23 by 23 tiles, of which 88 that we can't build on, drag it to the edge there, outside connection produced. Only it's a outside connection to nothing. But it's a better nothing than Blue Mantle nothing, correct? Am I right here? I think we could export garbage in oh yeah, SimCity 3000. I believe you could, I read once. Prefer light aircraft rather than blimps. Yeah, light aircraft and helicopters. I'm with you. Themes. Okay. Oh, this is that image I promised you. European buildings on the left, American buildings on the right, and then it's all in the same city, because you'll have a base of, let's say you've gone European as your base map theme. You can add American, and if you've got an American theme, you can add European, but you have to have one, and that'll be for the roads. And for the not just the roads, but the emergency vehicles will be of the American style if you've gone with a base of American. And a European style, if there's such a thing, as Polish fire trucks are different from British fire trucks. No doubt they're different from Spanish fire trucks. So very generic phrase, that one. We're probably very, I'm guessing, Germanic in that kind of area, I imagine. Anyway. Before we end this development diary today, we need to discuss themes. We need to. When you start a new city, you can choose between European and North American, which defines the street markings, traffic lights, vehicle models for certain city services, and other roadside props. While each map has a theme connected to it, you can choose your favourite, but once you start your city, it can no longer be changed. The visual style of residential and commercial zone buildings also depends on the selected theme when the theme is created. It will default to the map's theme, but you can freely choose between the available themes when zoning, and you can even create a mixed city using both themes. Lastly, some public transportation stops have different visuals depending on the selected theme, and as with the zone buildings, you can customize in-game. And that's all we have for you, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. What do we got next week? Hang on. Next week is climate and seasons. I'm going to leave it on this. I think this is an interesting one with the two different styles of buildings, European and American side by side. Hi, Doug. Will the North American theme train tracks have... Did you know what? Good question. I hope not. That is something that has bugged me. Very much bugged me. Similarly, in the UK, we have large stretches that are electrified with a ground rail. It's part of the world that I'm in. We have no catenaries at all. But then, as you head up north, certainly through the Midlands, I know there are. So it's fairly regional in the UK. Don't know quite how. I think it's mostly catenaries in Europe, isn't it? I don't know. Somebody from Europe tell me. Hi, John. American. LA is totally different from New York. Yes. Which is different from Texas, which is different from Miami. Totally with you. Totally with you. And I say ground textures, I think, is my big disappointment from this. My big disappointment is ground textures. The lack of variety, the similarity between all of them. Building one city is going to look very much to building on the it's going to be the layout, the hills and the rivers, basically hills and water. The trees are, oh well, I mean, the tree models are okay, I guess. I've not seen any really bad ones. Fairly uninspiring, some of them, but I've not seen any bad ones. But the tree painting on the maps is meh. I mean, it's not awful, mostly, apart from the drowned trees. And this is the thing, these images here, I've not seen any drowned trees. The only ones I've seen are the ones from $2.20's build. Has $2.20 been sticking trees in the water specifically to wind me up? If he has, could somebody go across to Australia right now? I can't, I'm a bit busy for the next couple of hours. But bless him. Textures should be an easy fix. Well, this is the thing, textures in theory, if we're just talking about updating the textures that we're seeing in the... Let me scroll up. There we go. That'll do. So if we're just talking about updating these textures, so we get a new grass texture, new cliff texture, new snow texture, new water. I don't mind the water texture. I don't know about how well it works like here. It just looks like it's been painted in here. The texture is good. The scaling is awful here. This is ridiculous, right? But in general, it looks better than Cities Skylines 1. Hopefully the water mechanic will be better. But anyway, yeah, well, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the text. So yeah, to update the grass texture, the cliff texture, the ruin texture, as it is called in CS1, whatever you want to call it in the current. So what we got? 1, 2, 3. We've got maybe 4 textures on view here. It's not a big job to change it. Not a big job. But that if this is the one set of themes, whatever you change them to, and I don't hate this. But if this is the same for, I mean, where are we here? This is Windy Fjords, so this is Norway. And then this is the same as San Francisco. And this is the same as Guadalajara, making that one up. And this is the same as Tokyo. It's not. And we need to have the variety in textures to make the biomes stand out from each other. Because at the moment, they really don't. And that is going to be a big fail. A big, big fail. I mean, gameplay might be amazing. But the aesthetics, background aesthetics, when they've gone to all the effort, we need it. We need it. Oh, what have we got in the chat there? Catenaries everywhere. Yep, thanks. Yep, needed that. You can tell with a name like Pavel, you're definitely European. Or an American immigrant. The lights are so yellow. Oh, still on the lights, Dan. So yeah, in terms of, is it an easy fix with the textures? In theory, changing the textures here, easy fix. But if you're talking about having varieties of textures across multiple maps, coming up with the textures is a relatively easy fix. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, you're gonna have somebody spending a few weeks on it, probably one person, but having the mechanic to attach them, I mean, that's the best word I can phrase for this one, having the mechanic to attach them to certain specific biomes. Cities Skylines 1 had that mechanic. We had the 4 base game and the snowfall base themes, plus we could switch in custom themes. And we haven't got that for, we can't call them themes anymore because themes is buildings and roads and vehicles. So the actual map textures, if we haven't got any way that we've seen of switching them up and out. There's no mechanic for it. And that is going to be what I think would be the big job. Not creating the textures, but actually building a mechanic into the game. I think that's huge. Where we go? Excuse me. The water still looks like that. See, the problem with the water is we can't really make out the mechanic here. We cannot see how this is working. We're not really getting a true feel for how the water appears, because at the end of the day, it is just a texture on I'm not how to describe how the water mechanic would work, but this on the left, this just looks really bad, and it's not the color of the water. The texture and the color of water is scaled badly. This one doesn't look too bad. It's still not quite right, but this is better than CS1. And from about here up into the map is better than CS1. But in this foreground, is water going to look awful in the foreground? That's probably a bigger worry. But in terms of a gel, it's hard to tell. Hard to tell. Yeah, textures. Why don't they make like 50? Well, they can make 50. They can make 50. But how do you, if you have the mechanic to assign them to maps, you're going to need somebody not just designing the texture. Like if I don't know, let's say, I'm trying to think of a mechanic. What's a mechanic we've got in CS1 that we don't have in CS2? Whatever. Say, there you go, move it. Right? Having a texture is as simple as sitting somebody down who's got art skills, creating a texture, or going out with a camera, taking pictures, or whatever. But having the mechanic, i.e. move it, you need somebody with coding skills to sit down and work out exactly how that is going to work. And what you need to be able to switch in and out textures into a map, you need the coding to set in the mechanic, not just the actual text. We could all send in 20 different textures each, but how are they going to be implemented into the game? That for me is a different thing altogether. Right, popularity of the themes and relighting everything would be a mistake not to support. I agree, it would be a huge mistake. So I'm guessing no news on whether we can make us. There are no news that we've seen. There is, if I go back up to the video, the nearest we've got to news so see, just clicking through, that's within gameplay. Is it further on in the video? I think it was. I'll find it in a minute, bear with me. I'm just clicking through and it was there we go. So on the main screen we have editor, continue game, new game, load great game, editor, not editors, editor. So is that map editor? Is that asset editor? Is that theme editor? Almost certainly not, because it doesn't look like we've got the options. Is this building names? Giving Sims names editor, adding your name and your family and whatever, so your family can live. Is that this? Is not editors, is editor. And so that is the question. Or is that actually just the editor menu, so it takes you through to, and then you'll have a breakdown of all of the individual editors? Not entirely sure, but I think that's the nearest that we've got to a clue on. Let me drop at that one. There we go, because it's a castle. It could be the console version. Seems odd though that you would do images from the console version when they're developing the game on, obviously on PCs. It's got to be easier, surely easier, to get the images off. But maybe it is the console version. But yes, Harry is 100% certain we'll be able to make custom maps. I am 98% certain. I'll be stunned if we can't, but it's possible, as there is no hint that we've got Steam for. There's nothing on that menu that suggests we've got work. Doesn't say anything about workshop content anywhere. Content manager There's nothing there, which is either console or we're looking at, yeah, we're guessing, we're second guessing. There's a lot of information still to come, right? But it is a little concern. That say is there are definitely concerns at this point, without question. Ripples look too big for the rivers. Indeed, I totally agree with you, Eldon. Spot on. Couldn't have said it better myself. Powerful, to be honest. Water going down the sink scale or worse. Yep. The console, we covered that. Water mechanics isn't that complex. Water shaders aren't either. I take your word on it, Pavel. I'll take your word on it. You've already said 3 things in there that I don't understand. Louis or Lewis. Okay, Lewis. I see, thanks. I really desire to have a map editor. It's the most fun part of the game for me. Yes. I'm shit at making cities. Give me a map editor. I'm totally with you. Also, speaking of map editor, while you're all here, I am very likely tomorrow to be opening the map editor and going on stream. One last map from BonBonB. Don't expect any masterpiece or anything like that, but it's not going to be a 90-minute map attack. It will be doodling in the map editor, trying to create something in the next 3 months. One of the things, just something to do. So if you want to watch some map editing in CS1, that will be coming along tomorrow as a live stream. Anyway, not having a map editor will shoot themselves in the foot a little bit, but also they could, if the mechanics of the game are that good, and they do look really good. I'm going to be honest with you. From what I've seen so far, I am suitably impressed. If it's as good as it comes across, and there are definitely grumbles. There are always grumbles. I'm not entirely happy with the DLC formats they've got, but it's a business model. What can I say? But in terms of what I'm seeing, I'm really enjoying the... yes, I'd like bikes in the base game. But other than that, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. And if it's all about gameplay, we might not want to play with the map editor. We might be really happy with the 10 excellent maps we've just seen today. Hi, Dan. Well, if they add that S, it costs either a graphic or a 01010011 binary code added. It's just space saving or laziness. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, very funny, very droll. Very, very droll. Dan. Love you the bits. Luigi, map editor DLC. Oh, you better not. Oh my god. No, I don't see it. It'll either come with the base game or it won't at all. But yeah, in the video at 45 in the top left, you can see snow going in a straight line. I wonder if instead of Blue Mantle, we'll have randomly generated terrain that starts off from the edge of the 23 by the 23. 45 seconds. Okay. Thanks, random. Let's go and have a little look. 43. And click play. Oh, I see. Yeah, you're quite right. So, yeah. We're going to have... It's definitely some new memes. Definitely going to have some new memes. About time we had some new memes. Oh, leave it on that. Nice looking city here. Early city here. How many have we got unlocked? 3, 6, 9, 10, 13, 16, 21, 26, 32, 38, 39, 40, 1, 42. 43 tiles unlocked here. Probably says it here somewhere. You've got 43 tiles unlocked. I might be wrong, but it looks about it. And of course, there might be another tile unlocked somewhere else that we can't see. But there we go. Yeah. Right, we go. It's a horrible business model. For us consumers, I agree. As a business model, to call it horrible, and it's your business, I don't necessarily. I guess it's from which view you're looking at it, yeah. But yeah, I'm with you. Being EA style, but yes, BS move, quite right. And so many never to be finished maps on your yes. Oh man, I've got so many unstarted video ideas. I might get 1 or 3 done between now and the game coming out, but yeah, I've definitely got 1 or 2 I want to do. I'm really looking forward to actually having the time to do it without having to worry about what map. We'll have at least one more what map coming because there's a BonBonB map that has been requested. So I will do that one. And there's bound to be at least one map somewhere down the line review between now and then that will almost demand a review because it's, I don't know, just one last bringer map or something like that where we'll have to because they're too good. But other than that, yeah, what's map now done. I don't need to worry about it. I can just start focusing on doing some other stuff, which would be great. Anyway, fully autonomous bikes in the base game. Yes, that's hilarious so far. Remember, the game is still in development. I will forgive them some stuff. Some stuff. I'm up for DLC as I understand the business model. But yes, bikes in the base game is a must, but it's not going to happen. They've already confirmed it. The bikes, of course, that we've seen, Pavel, were the motorbikes. I'm talking about push bikes, pedal bikes, Dutch. The seed of doubt has been planted. Flat Earth confirmed again. Quite right. I think the textures have been designed to look good from height. You could be right, actually. Driverless motorbikes. Yeah, it's early. We'll let them off. But there are definitely some problems still. But they've got 3 months. It's a lot of time and they've got a big team. I have absolute confidence they will fix at least one of the problems that we've seen so far. Before CS2 comes out, I'll just release a collection of unfinished maps so they're not gone forever. Good plan, actually. Anything sat around doing nothing, just make sure they're playable. And just get them out. Good plan. I'll still release assets for CS1 for months to come. Do you know what? You won't be the only one. There's going to be a lot of people that won't transition over to CS2 immediately. But there will be a huge CS2 community from the off. So I will be transitioning straight across. I probably will leave CS1 installed on my system for a short while. But I imagine I will be uninstalling it maybe by, I mean, if we say Easter 2024, I'd be surprised if I've got it on my computer beyond that point. It might even be uninstalled by Christmas. If I'm not going to be playing it at all, if I'm not going to be using it at all, I don't see any reason to have it. So it's done me good. I mean, I've got, let me have a quick look at me Cities Skylines. I have 7,620 hours in the game, which is quite a few, I feel. How much of that has been actually playing the game? Very little. Very, very little. Alright. Wow, 3 months. Time sure passed fast. Yes, doesn't it? Gotta wait for the bugs to get worked out. Oh, that's the other thing. There will be bugs. And it'll be really annoying. But I because of where I am with the channel, I think I need to be in there from the start. If I leave it 3 months, I get left behind. I was left behind before launching the channel here. So I kind of want to be on the ball rolling. And I know I will outstay a whole bunch of the smaller YouTubers, the opportunist YouTubers who think they can maybe become big on Cities Skylines 2. There will be some that do. There'll be many that don't. I'll outstay a lot of them because I've proven I got form, right? I haven't got mega big and I'm still going. I don't know how. I'll get some of that coffee down me. Show of hands for pre-ordered. I haven't. I may. I've got an email or a message from somebody. I need to talk to them first, but we will. Yeah, I mean, pre-ordered is definitely, if you're serious, you definitely want to pre-order because of the 1 or 3 extra bonuses. Definitely worth having. I mean, why would you not? The question is the season's pass for the all the extra bits and bobs that are coming over the coming months. That is a different question altogether. My plan was to release themes as soon as the game comes out, so everyone will be forced to use mine. Yeah, good plan. Like that. Hi DK, just joined in. Have you people talked about how would map publishing work? Well, the thing that we've got, yeah, I know where you're coming from, DK. We don't know anything about the map editor, or even if there is one. We're assuming there is one, but we don't know whether they're going to be hosted. There's a possibility they're going to be hosted on a Paradox server, because we've seen no hints to a Steam workshop, or maybe there isn't, or maybe they are going to be on the Steam workshop, in which case it'd be much as we've got now, just different. So honestly, DK, we know nothing. They've given us no clues whatsoever, apart from the map is sizably bigger. Hang on, I've got that's one bit of math I haven't done here. Let me just do some 33, 43, 53, 63, 62, 61. Now, calculator needed. Right, so I'm estimating there are a minimum, assuming that the space outside of the playable area, the 23 by 23 tile playable area, of which we can buy 21 by 21 or any combination of, given what I can see in the video, we might have in excess of 3,721 tiles. That's if the tiles outside of the playable area are buyable. Like we had the 81 tile mod, those areas weren't buyable. We got the mod, it allowed us to. Because I made out that we've got at least 19 tiles outside of the playable area. That's 19 tiles on each side, which would make for a total of 61 tiles across the entire width of the playable area. 61 by 61 is 3,721 tiles. And that's the minimum it would be if it's playable, if it's purchasable, if it's even possible. So, yes. Right, let me just have a look here. Is CS2... Oh, yeah, right, gotcha. Right, the proof is in the pudding. Right. There were a Paradox mods button in the main menu in the dev diary from a while ago. Indeed, we've shown that already. Right, CS2 map is bigger than 25 tiles. It is. It's about 7 by 7 in old school tiles. In Cities Sky... More sirens to the BonBonB Bingo players. We've had 2 police cars. What's this one going to be? It's another police car. Going back the original direction. Kettle must be on. Right, where were we? Yes, so it's approximately 7 Cities Skylines 1 tiles by 7 Cities Skylines 1 tiles. The actual area is about 7 2/3 by 7 2/3. But you can only build on 7... Because it's 21 tiles by 21 tiles is the buildable area. But the actual... it's 23 by 23. There we go. It's 23 by 23, but you can build on 441, which is 21 by 21. But outside of those 23 by 23, there's at least another 19 tiles in each direction, but whether or not they are possibly unlockable, that's the speculation. There, think I got it out there in the end. I think. Your CS doesn't start anymore for no reason. Time to move on. Uninstall. Get rid of it. 300 kilometers squares. We're just catching up on what we got there. Another YouTuber said that the tiles are smaller and the buildable area is bigger, but the map on the whole is smaller. However, the scaling might be... I don't think the scaling is smaller. Oh, right, hang on a second. That's it. Let me just do... I've got the calculator still out here. What did they say that the tile size was? Have we got that on here? So it's roughly 1/3. So what's a third of one? There we go. 1.92 divided by 3 is... So it's about 600 meters. 600 meters. Times that by, I said 61, didn't I? Minimum. So that is 36 kilometers by, over 36 kilometers by 36 kilometers across the entirety of the visible map. Whether it's actually playable, it's a different question. But yes, so if we say about 40 kilometers by 40 kilometers, that would be a fair estimate, and it might be a little bit more than that across the entire playability. Oh, sorry, across the entire visibility of the map. But it might well be that those areas are unplayable if they haven't actually coded it into the actual game itself. It's possible. Cuboid confirmed that the full map is smaller than CS1. I don't know where. It depends on what you're talking about. Yeah, no. The 7x7, which is what we're looking at as the playable area, is smaller than the 9x9 City Skylines 1. It depends what you're comparing. If you're comparing apples with oranges here, right? We've got right at the top here, right? And I'm happy with all of these numbers here. 33.18 square kilometers is a 3x3 tile in City Skylines 1. That's your 9 tiles base game. That is what they're comparing with the 159 square kilometers, which is the base game playable in Cities Skylines 2, which is approximately 7 tiles by 7 tiles, which is roughly 5 times larger than Cities Skylines. But it depends what you're calling a map. If you're calling the map the entire area, Cities Skylines 2 is way bigger than Cities Skylines 1. The playable area of 159 square kilometers is smaller than the 81 tile unlock. We'll give you that. But if the area outside this 159 square kilometers is unlockable, in fact, let me do one last. 441 is 23 by 23. Let me do this one. 23 times by 600 meters times by 13800 is, you're looking at about 190 square kilometers for the 23 by 23 tiles, which we have seen is in the game. So if there is a possibility of the equivalent of the 81 tile unlock, well, no, the equivalent of the 25 unlock all would be the 23 by 23 tile unlock, would be 190.44 square kilometers, which is bigger. It's just bigger. And then you've got all that space outside of the playable area, which may be playable with a mod or may not be playable with a mod. But it's big. Yeah, Cuboid's right and he's wrong. The screen says 5 times bigger. Yeah, that's... But this is, let's say, comparing apples with oranges. Comparing that with the 81 tiles is not an equal... Because the 81 tiles... Let me come back to the... Here we go. Right, let me just find on here a... Right, stop the... Right, we'll stop the video here. So what you've got here is 23 tiles by 23 tiles. This is the playable area. This is the equivalent of 7 tiles by 7 tiles in Cities Skylines 1. That's what you're looking at here. 9 by 9 would take you to, what, about here? So the 81 tiles is to about here, out to about here, and then same around the outside. But you can see there is more land outside of here. So basically the overall map is larger than the Cities Skylines 1 without question. Without any question at all. But the question is, with mods, is this land out here going to be usable? If it's not, then you could say that yes, this is smaller than Cities Skylines 1 with the 81 tile mod. But it's possible that this will be playable. Possible with mods. But that was the case with the 81 tile mod. If you're talking about base game, 5 by 5 is only about this, something like this. Thanks, Mr. Motorbike. Get out of my living room. So 5 by 5 is probably about this, which is way smaller. Way smaller. So yeah, you compare. Cuboid there is comparing oranges with apples, and they're right, and I love their work, but also they're wrong. Simple as that. Anyway, let's count up tops. Where were we? I've missed some chat. Blimey, slow down, people. Anyway, yeah, catching up. Just I think the confusion comes from... Yes, Brom, you're absolutely right. The confusion does come from Colossal Order calling the buildable area the map. So it's clearly an outside world. Yes, the map, they are talking about these tiles. And anything outside of these tiles, they're not referring to as the map. But we refer to this as the map. And this is the playable area. So yeah, exactly. Well said, Rob. It'll have to be all playable like 81. It'll have to be. Do you know what? Will it? I don't know. I mean, it'll be frustrating if you do get to the edge and you want to build more, and there's clearly land there. But it does feel that it's going to be a lot bigger. And we don't know how much game lag there'll be. You might not want to build any bigger. They'll say it's going to be much more efficient and much more using of the cores better, but we will see. They say you can unlock most of the tiles. Also, you can build outside connections when you reach the edge. I suppose the map will be 23 by 20. Good again, very good point there from Random. So yeah, if you're putting outside connections along the edge of the 23 tiles here, then that is the edge of the map. And this is all for show. This is just this is blue mantle that's covered in terrain mesh. So yeah, good point there, Random. If you're putting an outside connection here, this is the edge. So this is smaller than the 81 tiles, but also bigger than the 81 tiles. But can you really count the 81 tiles? Because the 81 tiles is basically this, but we had a way of unlocking them through mods. Yeah, it's apples and oranges. It gets more complicated as it seems that the scale of the game's assets has been... Does it? Who said they're being reduced? Luigi, I would love to see the evidence for that. I've not seen any evidence for that. Comes a vanilla playable area. It's like, gotcha. But the entire map is way smaller. Harry, I don't know where you're coming from with this. I don't know where you're coming. Or maybe I've gone too far back up. Maybe we've covered that. I've probably covered that. Yeah, Harry plays one city skyline tile is 3x3. Yes, absolutely. We know this. This is 7x7 approximately. Oh, bless you. Your math is wrong because it's not wrong. I've double checked it, and not just double checked it. It's been verified by many others. Please, somebody back me up on this one. Also, why is land outside the 23x23 so glitchy? That'll be because technical reasons. Yeah, it's all calculated in, Harry. It's all calculated in. Spent a lot of time working on that one a long while ago, actually, and not seen anything. The only thing we didn't know for sure was, and we still don't know for sure, is how much space is there outside of the 23x23. Here we can see about 19 tiles worth. So we can assume there's not at least 19 tiles worth off the top as well, and off each side, which is why I'm figuring it's a minimum of 61 tiles by 61 tiles, theoretically speaking. But that doesn't count for anything if these are not unlockable even with a mod, even with the cleverest of modding, which is possible. But that doesn't mean it can't be done. But so the overall map is, if we're going to call it map as we would call it a map, the overall map is way bigger than Cities Skylines 1. The overall playable area, if you're comparing, if it's not unlockable beyond this point ever, the overall playable area compared to unlocking the entire 81 tiles is smaller. I will give you that. If this is the hard limit. If this is the hard limit, we are smaller than 81 tiles. That's the only way that the argument that this is smaller stands up. This is the vanilla base game limit. In fact, it's not quite, because the vanilla base game limit is 21x21, or any combination of within the 23x23. 441 of these little tiles is the limit, where previously we had the equivalent of, I could get the calculator out again, well, the equivalent of 81 of these little tiles. Of course it is 81, because we could buy 9 tiles before, and 1 tile is 9. So we were limited to, I mean, basically, what, a ninth of this area? Ballpark-ish? Yeah. No, it's 3 times larger. Yeah, the only question then is that I say, are the buildings scaled the same? I've not seen anything to suggest they won't be. And not that it really makes any difference. Surely it doesn't make any difference. Because this is exactly the same size as this. It's just zoomed in at different levels. And surely it doesn't matter if you scale everything down. If everything's scaled down, everything is the same. 1 meter is still 1 meter. You're not going to have buildings that are smaller. I mean, maybe you won't get any huge sprawling complexes, or maybe we'll get a huge sprawling. I mean, they said that the airport's going to be the size of a small town. So yeah, obviously. Anyway, from my point of view, the map is the entire PNG file they used to make it. Well, I agree with you, Harry. But what they're calling a map and what we're calling a map is where there's a little bit of loss, confusion and stuff. But yeah, we're talking, yeah, in marketing materials, they can only talk about vanilla. Yeah, I'm with you, Pavel. I'm absolutely with you, Pavel. Yeah, they're only talking about not just about vanilla, but also what's going to make their game sound more and more marketable, right? So the City Skylines 1, we had the ability to build on 9 tiles, and then there was the unlock all for 25 tiles, and then there were mods. And the equivalent of the 9 tile here is 441 of these smaller tiles, which is way more. So their argument is bigger. They're not wrong. They are not wrong. But is this area accessible around the outside? This is what we want to know. Okay, we are all wanting to know this. This confusion will go away if they just come out and tell us. Yeah, but they're still working on stuff. So there's some stuff that they may not want to say because they may be like in an early stage of development. Like there might the map editor maybe not said anything because maybe it's not been finished yet. They've used the map editor in their back rooms to make these maps, but maybe it's not user friendly enough to share with the community, so they haven't mentioned it yet. Because what if it's not ready? It might not. I mean, it will be ready if it's going to be a thing. But there's many reasons why they won't at this early. We're 3 months from release. Then they're showcasing a whole bunch of really interesting stuff. But there's stuff that they won't be able to say, and there's stuff that they definitely won't want to say because there'll be stuff that they want to like sit on and be quiet about, like the lack of push bikes. They didn't advertise that. They have confirmed it, but they haven't. They're not advertising it. But it's still a big map. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Look at the size of the city down here. That's sizable already. And we've got all these tiles that have already been purchased to expand out and into. You've got all of these tiles over here with the islands on them, which you can expand out and into. And so, I mean, 80, where are we? 8, 2, 4, 6. In terms of, if you don't buy any of this line, this line, this line, or the end line, or maybe the top line, maybe. This is all buildable. Just take these 3 lines out that haven't been purchased here, and the top line there that hasn't been purchased. The rest of that would be playable with the 441. It's big. It's just, is this area? Anyway, where were we? I think the outside land is a skybox with a static terrain model. Ooh. DK, that is deep. Random might be right as well. Seeing that water glitches a lot. Yes. Probably a shader issue. We already know that you can't transfer assets, so the asset editor might be different. Maybe the same goes for the maps. Yeah. This is the thing. I still think it's got to be possible for a modder to, I mean, take something like we've got Skive, right? Skive is a mod that works outside of City Skylines, which enables us to do things within City Skylines. And I'm thinking that something like that must be possible for a modder to actually build, to assuming that asset creation is going to be a thing. Again, we're still making assumptions. To import the models, just import the models, not the in-game finished article, but import the models, and then to be able to input our own stats, like population size, just the whole thing, the whole bits and bobs in there. But having the model that we can import is 3/4 of the battle. I think that'd be a massive boon for this game if we could. Whether or not Avery gets around to doing it's a different thing. We're already seeing the resource mechanic is different. Yes. Oh, the resources is huge. Huge. You have a look at the oh, what they called the different sorts of goods that you can produce in your city. Things like food is not the same as convenience food, and so they have just so many different things within this game that you can produce and different markets that you can exploit. It's going to be very interesting. I think in terms of gameplay, it's going to be a lot more interesting than City Skylines 1. City Skylines 1 was about beating the traffic. This will be traffic, yes, but so much more. Loving it already. And I've not played it. It's actually a very hard task to fill. Yes. Oh, man. You're not wrong. But that was a lot down to the traffic again. Map making as part of city builders since forever. I can't think they'll ever do anything as dumb as remove the map making. If it puts me out of a YouTube channel, they'll do it to spite me. Game is at the end of the day, if the game is popular, the mods will come. And while the 3D model might be the same, I think they'll use different textures. This is it. Yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch of things. Who knows? Who knows? Right. Anyway, I think we've covered this well. I will be back tomorrow. I'm saying probably. I'll leave that on here. I'll be back tomorrow probably. I haven't actually thought about exactly what I'm going to do, but I am wanting to open the map editor one last time, or one last series of times. Make one more map. I'm going to do it from scratch, without a terrain map. I have a rough idea in my head what I'd like to do, ish. And so if you want to join me for a live bit of map building, we'll do that. We'll do that tomorrow night. I look forward to seeing you along. Back to making Flowscape videos. It's been a long time since I played Flowscape. I do enjoy Flowscape. I've been playing about with other stuff recently. But yeah. Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks Steve for catching up with your chat there. Yeah, it's these are fun. This one this week was a bit uninspiring, I think. A little bit uninspiring. Didn't really answer any questions. It was just being able to count 19 tiles here was the biggest revelation of them all. But yes, is this an extended skybox? Who knows? They know. I will see. Anyway, I think that's about it. I'm going to wrap things up. We don't have an outro. So when I end this, we will end this. I'll say thanks for commenting, for liking, subscribing. And of course, you have hit the like button, haven't you? I'm just checking. Because if you haven't, that's very rude. I'm going to wind it up. I will see you again very, very soon. Have a great evening, everybody. And hopefully see a few of you tomorrow. Oh, one last one. Those talented map makers getting together and create one last CS. I'm going to do it on my own. Yeah. There will be a collaboration coming on this channel, which you can get involved in, DK. Keep your eye. In fact, if you haven't subscribed and notification bell, that's the big thing starting as of probably the end of next week. Something new. Exclusive to this channel. So watch out for that one. Anyway, that's it. I'm back. I'm done. Have a great evening. I hopefully see some of you tomorrow evening for a bit of live map making with me, BonBonB. I've been BonBonB. You've been very, very welcome, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.